from PSEN Creations. Today we are going to do, it's my dog, a woodland ruffle wreath patriotic using this 21-inch mesh. I'm going to also be using 18 pipe cleaners, a Dollar Tree frame. It's the 14-inch frame. And you know, I haven't thought through yet what ribbons or which sign I'm going to use, but we'll go through the video. I'm going to make sure that there are certain areas of the video that I'm going to fast forward, just letting you know ahead of time so that the video itself is not super long, but it should still hit all the spots that you need if you've never done a wreath doing this particular style. Again, the style that I'm doing is a woodland ruffle, I believe it's called. So using the 21-inch mesh, I'm going to cut each piece at 11 inches in length, and I'm going to cut, I'm not sure how many pieces I'm going to cut, but I'll make sure to mention how many pieces I cut. So to start off, I'm going to bring you down a little bit so that you can see my frame. And I'm going to be, again, 18 ties. You can do as many ties as you want. When you do a 14-inch frame, the standard at least is 18 ties, and each tie is roughly about 4 inches from each other. I say roughly because obviously it's not going to be perfect. It would be 10 ties on the outer ring, which is just the outside, right? And you always want to attach them together. You don't have to do that. Some people do it only on one and then do a dab of hot glue so that it doesn't move. It's up to you, I guess. And then you're going to do 8 on the inner ring, or the inner 2, right? So we're going to go ahead and get started with this. If you're new here, again, my name is Paula from PSEN Creations. I also have a Facebook business page that I do lives on. Again, PSEN Creations on there as well. And I also have a Instagram account that is PSEN Creations. So that's about almost 4 inches. So if you actually do that, the length of that of your pipe cleaners, then you can put your next one there. So if you're new here though, if you haven't subscribed or clicked the notification bell, please do so if you're interested in the content that I put out here. I don't always only do wreaths. I try to do other things as well. Majority of what I do is wreaths, just because those are the supplies that I have as well. So especially right now with everything going on, I'm using what I have, but I do have some other ideas to put other things on my channel. I need to get to it a little bit more. I do custom wreath orders as well if anybody is interested. I have an Etsy shop. You can visit my shop that has a number of things on there at www.psencreations.com. All right, so as you can see, I am simply just going around the outer and adding my pipe cleaners. Again, the outside will have 10 pipe cleaners, and this is how I do it. It's not to say how anybody else does it is right or wrong, or how I do it is right or wrong. You do what works for you, what you find to be best for your design and what your ability is. going to set my wreath frame to the side. And now I'm going to start cutting. You can cut with scissors. I have a rotary cutter. And again, this is 21-inch mesh. So I am going to cut them. I'm going to cut probably about 18, 20, maybe 26 pieces at 11 inches in length. And I know we only have 18 ties, but you'll see why I did 26, because I want to make sure that I have full coverage. And you're simply just going to, and that's one piece. So now I'm just going to do all the pieces that I need. And this part will be fast forwarded. So I had already started this. I'm going to start on the outside. Again, I'm doing what they call a... So what you do is you take your mesh, we cut it to 11 inches. It's 21-inch length mesh. You roll it up into a roll. And you squeeze each side at whatever inches you want to squeeze it at. So for example, I'm going to squeeze it at 4 inches. I'm going to use a clip, and then I'm going to come to this side, I'm going to curl it again. Four inches. And now this is going to be placed in the last tie that I placed the previous ruffle on. So you can reopen it or you can keep it closed. It's up to you. I'm just going to keep it closed. Just going to put it in there twice. Important, always want to keep the mesh cut piece down. And then I'm going to take my other side, I'm going to twist it again. Looks like this might have moved on me. And I'm going to place it into that tie. And again, just make sure that your cut piece is facing in or down. And there you go. That is, I believe, what they call the woodland ruffle, because you have the rough, no, this might not be the woodland ruffle. I'm not sure what this is called now that I'm thinking about it. So I'm just going to continue on through the outside. So the next curl, and it's a curl and a poof is what it is. Poof and my curl is going to be added to this one and then to my next tie. So I'm going to continue that throughout my entire top and bottom. I started at the bottom. If you want to, you can easily just put it in, do your curl, and put in rather than clipping one side. It's up to you. This just gives the wreath a little bit different dimension. It's not the easiest to do, but you can get the hang of it. have this sign that is, or this piece of wood that is 8 by, should be 8 by 8. Yeah, it's actually 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. Just a plain wood sign. I'm going to paint it white using this white chalk paint that I have in my stash, and then I'm going to let it dry, and then I will most likely create a stencil using my Cricut, and then I will paint on the stencil rather than just using vinyl. I'll paint the design on using the, like I said, creating a stencil using my Cricut. Now when I create stencils using my Cricut, I create stencils that are one-time use only, because I use like the laminate, or I use the vinyl that you can either get at the Dollar Tree, or one time I got a bunch of black, it's chalkboard vinyl made by the company that makes tape, the duck one, the duct tape. I think that's what it's called, duct tape. Anyways, yeah, that's about a bunch of rolls of that, and so I use that as my stencil vinyl. Again, it's one-time use vinyl only, but I like doing that because that gives me the ability to create unique signs for my wreaths. Something that you can't necessarily purchase at like Walmart or Hobby Lobby or Michael's or whatever store is out there that has mass-produced stuff. So just a little bit of fun and something different to do. So I'm not going to show how I make the stencil because I really haven't figured out how to do the Cricut on like a separate monitor where you can actually see it versus it coming through my phone, which is, I know, not good because then you're looking at a computer screen that's all pixelated. So again, I'm just giving this a quick coat of white. Because it's chalk paint, it won't take long to dry, but I am going to let it dry. And because I'm not actually doing vinyl on it, I'm doing a stencil, it should be perfectly fine to do today and not have to wait. If I was just doing vinyl on it, I would definitely wait 24 hours to make sure that the paint dries and cures properly, so that when I lay the vinyl on it, it doesn't like lift it. And I'm not using the what is it called? HTV vinyl, where you can actually iron it onto your wood. I'm not doing that. I've never tried that actually. Actually, that's not true. I have tried it. Alright, I'm gonna let this dry. I will create my stencil and I'll be back. Alright guys, So I made this stencil, God Bless America, put it on, and I'm going to do blue and red, just using these makeup sponges that I got from the Dollar Tree, and my plate. So I'm trying to think, I think I may do the words in red and then the stars in blue. So we're going to go ahead and start with our red. And when you're doing a stencil, of course, you just want to make sure that you are not putting too much on and you're just dabbing. And the reason why you dab is because you don't want to have the paint go underneath the stencil. So you have less of a chance of that happening if you dab versus sliding. This is a handmade sign, right? So it doesn't, you try to make it perfect, but it doesn't have to be 100% perfect. There's going to be some imperfections because it's handmade, right? It's not made on a assembly line or anything to that matter. So again, you don't go in with the mindset that it's not going to be perfect, but you may have a few spots where and another thing is you don't want to put too much, I don't know if I mentioned it, you don't want to put too much paint on whatever it is that you're using, whether it be a makeup sponge or one of those little dabbers. Because if not, you'll have more bleeding as well, or more of a chance to bleed. blue. I put way too much red on my plate. Okay, I'm gonna let this dry and then I will reassess it to see if I need to dab a little bit more, fix anything that I need to fix as far as like, you can see a little bit of, oh you can't really see it, but there's a little bit of red right here that I got on the white. And then I will remove the stencil and we will attach things to the back so that we can hang it on our wreath. So I have my sign done. I love how it turned out. So I'm just going to turn it over and I'm just going to take 2 pipe cleaners. I'm going to staple them to the back. Now this is a pretty big sign, so you could potentially do 4 pipe cleaners if you want, but I'm just going to do 2 for now and see how that looks. If I don't like how it looks, then I will change it. But I have a big staple gun, but you can use whatever you want. I'm sorry this is going to be loud. And I missed, of course. Oh my god, hold on. Let's try this one more time. Give it a little twist. Do the same on the other side. Here's one thing to remember if you're using a staple gun. Make sure that the piece of wood that you are using, sorry, I always put this, take the battery off and put it away. Make sure that the piece of wood that you're using is more than 1/4 inch or whatever the size staple, thicker than that, because if not, it'll protrude through the front. But this didn't, because it is thicker than 1/4 inch. And as far as I know, the smallest staple you can get is 1/4 inch. So yeah, there's that. All right. Here's our wreath. Now, I don't think that I'm going to put any ribbon ties on the inside. So what I'm going to do is, with the inside pipe cleaners, you can, 1, cut them off, or 2, you can just fold them, or 3, you can just give them a little curl. Just in case they are visible, they look a little nicer. So that's what I'm doing here. Again, doing that with the inner ones. The outer ones may get ribbon tails. At least that's my plan. Just tightening them up. Curling them down. And you can use whatever you want. A pencil, pen, paintbrush, any kind of tube that you have. Or like I said, you can just curl them up however. Oh, going the wrong way on that one. This wreath is great for year-round. If you like to decorate with patriotic, it is great for 4th of July. It is great for summer, Memorial Day, Veterans Day. It's just patriotic, right? So that's why I kept from really putting in like, God bless, I mean, Happy 4th of July, because then that kind of makes it just a 4th of July wreath, or potentially just a summer wreath if that's what you put out for the summertime. Take your sign. Find a good spot for it. Fish your pipe cleaners through the mesh. Remembering not to pull too much, so that it's not completely pulled into. All right, I'm going to just turn it over really quick so I can see what I'm doing here. This side. Some people don't put the sign on until the end. You do what works for you. All right. Cute. All right, so now I have my ribbon tails. I have these two ribbons that are cut to 12 inches in length. I didn't cut them completely, but they're folded, and where they're folded, that's 12 inches. So I'm going to take them. I'm going to bend them in and then cut up. And that gives what is called a dovetail look. So again, you take your ribbons, fold them in, cut at an angle going upward, and you have that dovetail look. Fold it in half, pinch it in the middle. You have this, whatever you want to call it, butterfly, bird. Find your twist tie, put it on in there. You're not opening it. I'm not opening it, I should say. You could if you want. Then I'm going to curl my pipe cleaner. Because again, I'm not cutting it off. You can if you want. Some people don't like the look of the pipe cleaner. They think it makes it look cheap. And here, you're just going to spread out your ribbon. And that's what it looks like. So you're going to do that for all 10 of the outer. So that's what I'm going to do. Guys, sorry if I'm moving you so quickly. Here it is. It's simple, it's cute, I love it. Yeah, so I hope this inspired you. I hope this gave you some ideas. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. And if you're new here, please hit subscribe and the notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a video. I'm going to work really hard at starting to upload more videos. Like I said, check me out on Instagram, PSEN Creations, as well as Facebook, PSEN Creations. I also try to do lives there. I would love to do YouTube live, but you know, YouTube has certain rules and I have to get to a certain number of subscribers before I can even do lives on YouTube. So yeah, thanks. I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and thank you.